day, everyone. Today I'm taking a look at When a Star Falls, a model published by the UK branch of TSR back in 1984. And the author is one Graham Morris, who is probably quite well known with his contributions to several models back in the day, and White Dwarf magazine and Imagine magazine that were produced by TSR. Now, this model is a very good one. Basically, the plot line is where you have a playing character seeing a shooting star falling from the sky and crashing somewhere in the mountains in the distance. And they go then to collect said shooting star. But on the way, they come across a few problems and encounters which, depending on how they react, can make it very difficult or very easy. Now, normally when you have a Dungeons and Dragons trope, it usually ends up being where all the characters are in a pub or a bar or a drinking establishment, and some shifty character always comes up to them, giving them an incentive to go into the next adventure, and or being recruited by a person to go on the next adventure. There's always been a sort of easy get out to get the characters to go on an adventure, but this one does it differently. A, you see the shooting star crashing in the mountains, or B, and this is the clever bit, the playing characters, while they're wandering around the countryside, come across the bodies of monks, and they investigate why the monks are dead, and they're attacked by a thing called a memory web. Once you defeat that creature, the memories that have been absorbed by the memory web from the dead monks are suddenly blasted out into the minds of the playing characters, and they pick up a lot of the remembrances of the monks and the reason why they were on their way to wherever they were going. Turns out that they were being asked by the leader monk to go and get the shooting star. So based on the memories, the playing characters will have the clues needed to know where to go. And that's pretty much it really in a nutshell. So they go throughout the geography, which is on the maps, it's more or less like a circular thing with deep valleys and mountainsides. So they can go from point A to point B, encountering several different areas. And at the same time, being stalked by a bad guy monk. Apparently Shelby, this elder sage from a place called the Tower of Heavens, set the monks out, but one of the other monks becomes a bad guy and stages a coup, and he sends out a villain to find out where the monks have gone, and once he realizes they've been killed, then he then follows the playing characters and attacks them. So the villain is a pretty good villain to play in those circumstances, and you can, if you want to, have him pop in and out of the model, running away to hide and attack another day and so on and so forth. Or you can get him attacking to the death and having a playing character slaughter him. But unfortunately, it's not quite human. You become a shadow, or perhaps a member of the shadow, where you can summon creatures like a shadow mastiff from the planes of shadow. Sorry, you become a shade. My eyesight's terrible at the moment. I'm trying to read the PDF and there's the sun shining straight on the screen. Anywho, they go to different places. They're playing characters, such as when they meet a druid, who gives them further information. They also go then to the monk's hideout, or not hideout, sorry, monk's home, where they get involved in the coup that this villain monk is doing, and the other take part in the coup to prevent it from going any further, and getting involved in the politics of the place and probably fighting their way up through the levels of the tower to rescue Sharfie. One of the things I got when there's a slight criticism of this is the fact that the villain's name is called Payarz. Now it's spelled Piyarz, but he pronounces it Payas, and it's a very stupid name for a villain, in my own opinion. I mean, the playing characters or the players had a lot of mileage out of the jokes that had come from a name like that, Payas. Silly name. Anyhow, the characters then find that the star has crashed into a Darrow lair. So they've got to go through there and, find the star, fending off the Darrow and making sure they get out of the place alive. So once they do that and they've got the star, they can take it to the monk, who then suggested going to the Spirit Nebula because they can exchange the star for the set of books that the monk would like to have. So therefore they go to the end part of the module and fight not only the Spirit Nebula, but two dragons that the Spirit Nebula decide to introduce to the playing characters. And that is, in a nutshell, really, is the storyline and involvement of the playing characters in the model itself. Now, this is my opinion, and I don't know whether you agree with it or not. It's entirely up to you. But I generally find that the standard of the models produced by the UK team at TSR to be much higher and much more professional than a lot of the models that came out in USA at the time. Now, whether it was because we had better writers or better talent or better editors, I really don't know. But I always find that when you open up a model with a UK designation on there, that you're going to be assured of quality, and this is no different. It's a high quality adventure, well written, and what I find is important as well is the encounters seem to me to be very well thought out, very carefully thought out as well. The monsters don't clash with each other on the mountainsides or in the valleys, wherever the players travel to. You don't get mummies wandering around in the dungeons and next door to an orcs, if you like. You get the creatures that are typical for the environment they're in, and also the kind of creatures that you would expect, or the dungeon master would expect to have in the various dungeon environments that the playing characters go through. Another note is the fact that the artwork is quite good in this model. It's very evocative of a Celtic sort of flavour in the way it's been depicted. For example, on page 9, it's got this chap who's a druid, and he's wearing Celtic clothing and bearing a walking stick with a wild shaggy hair and beard, and it's quite good. It's quite an evocative art in there, and the model is full of this. This layout of the model is not quite the typical models that you find in other TSR products, especially in America. You get a few box outs here and there, and the maps are smaller and more difficult in some respects to actually see. You've got to read the model quite carefully in order to take the maps and put them to the text, because they're small and in some parts of it anyway. But other than that, that's the only criticism I've got of this rather enjoyable and well written and well easy to read model as well, because everything's nice and clear and everything's nice when set out, and so on and so forth. So yes, if you do play this, then I fully suggest getting a few nights session in, because it will take probably maybe 2, maybe 3 weeks to play fully, and there's plenty of role playing opportunities to be had from this model for both the dungeon master and the players as well, when they interact with the various characters they come across during the adventure itself. And there's a kind of sense of satisfaction when they take part in the coup and get rid of the bad guy and make sure that all is well with the world. But particularly if you play this Pyros to the hilt, really boom his villain. So yes, it's a satisfactory model all around, and I think it's one of the better ones that you can get. So there we are. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you all have a good day. And if you wouldn't mind, would you put a subscribe and sort of look at all the other models and reviews that I've done so far, and if you can, put a like. Thank you very much indeed. Rock on.